Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Holmes, I presume?
Dr. Livingston's the name. How are you, Mr. Stanley?
I'm very happy to meet you, Dr. Livingston. My name is Adam Gilflower from the Bureau of Entomology.
Oh, a bug hunter. Let me take those. Won't you sit down, Mr. Gilfillet?
Gilflower is the name, sir.
Oh, flower, yes. It goes with insects. Flora and fauna. I see you don't like to face the light, Mr. Phil Gillet.
My eyes give me a great deal of trouble, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's too bad. That's too bad. They're useful things, eyes. They rest the glasses.
I have an appointment with Mr. Holmes. Will he be here soon?
Will he? He certainly will, Mr. Wallflower. As a matter of fact, he's here now. You're sitting on him.
Wait!
No, don't bother to get up. You tell Docky Wocky all about it.
I don't understand.
Not half you don't, you old herring gut.
I beg your pardon.
Of all the transparent old fakers I ever saw. Gilflower, what a name to pick. Gilflower, Billflower, Bullfrog, Giggle-Woggle, Wiggle-Woggle. Why, you can do better than that. A child can see through you. Those dark glasses, that preposterous wig. Come out from behind those silly whiskers. I know you.
Watson.
Holmes.
My dear fellow, you've surpassed yourself. I think you owe Mr. Gilflower an apology.
They're stark mad.
But not dangerous, I assure you. My name is Holmes. I know your time is precious, but my business is urgent. Thank you for coming so promptly. I believe you know more about spiders than any man in London.
Oh, I shouldn't say quite that, Mr.
I wonder if you
Holmes.
could identify this specimen and tell me something of its manners and its morals.
This poor fellow's been very roughly handled. Have you a magnifying glass?
Yes, oh.
Here it is, Holmes. Sorry.
Oh, come, old fellow. Don't look so down in the mouth. The game's afoot and I shall need you.
Will you really, Holmes?
Naturally. Here you are, sir.
Extraordinary. Mr. Holmes, where did you find this creature?
You recognize it?
The deadliest insect known to science. It is the Lycosa carnivora. Habitat the upper reaches of the Obonga River.
Its bite is fatal.
Hideously. Human beings are its chosen prey. And its venom, once injected into the bloodstream, causes such excruciating agony that the victim is driven to self-destruction.
Does the bite of this creature leave any trace?
Only if you know what to look for. 2 small punctures hardly visible to the naked eye.
And its virus disappears in the bloodstream.
Completely.
Extraordinary thing.
Tell me, sir, could one get hold of a live specimen of the Lycosa carnivora in London?
Oh, I doubt it. Oh, hold on. Ordway might help. Matthew Ordway, Laburnum Villa.
Write it down, Watson.
Matthew Ordway, Laburnum Villa, New Road, Chipping Walton. Mr. Ordway is slightly eccentric. That shouldn't trouble you.
Huh?
He has a remarkable collection of spiders. You might tell him that I sent you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilflower. That's very kind of you and very helpful.
Oh, don't mention it, sir. I'm a law-abiding citizen, always willing to help at any hazard. Good day, Mr. Potson.
Watson? That's not very funny.
I think it's understandable, Watson. Now the work. Where's my badge, Tom? Here it is. Look up the trains to Chipping Walton, will you? There's good fellow. Mr. Matthew Ordway and his spiders is indicated. If Ordway is disposed of any Lycosa carnivora in the last few months, and he can tell us who took them. Found that train for Chipping Walton yet, Watson?
The wretched trains start, they go, but they never seem to arrive.
My case precisely. I know the means of these murders. I know the motive. I know the woman who directs the murder ring.
And it is a woman.
A fiend, Watson. She selects her victims from those desperately in need of money, persuades them to pawn their insurance policies with her various accomplices, and then kills them by means of Lycosa carnivora.
Incredible.
No more incredible than nature herself. Here, let me have that. After all, nature provides the means. Our Spider-Woman merely uses it.
You amaze me, Holmes. Hasn't she some difficulty in realizing these policies later on?
Not she. In due time, 2 years under English law, her victims' beneficiaries come forward and cash in. Never the same man twice, mind you.
But you know that for a fact.
As well as I know my own name. And yet I haven't one shred of evidence to connect this woman with her crimes. You're in my light, old boy.
Oh, so.
Here we are, Chipping Walton. Arrive.
Come in.
There's a lady outside to see you, Mr. Holmes, a Miss Spedding.
Oh. Ask her to come in.
All right, sir.
Mr. Holmes? Oh, yes, I recognize you now from your picture in the papers. I was so relieved to hear you were alive.
How very kind of you.
My name is Adrea Spedding.
Won't you come in?
Thank you. My little nephew, Mr. Holmes.
How are you, my lad?
I'm playing nurse today.
I'm sure you'll give an exceptional performance, Miss Spedding.
Poor child, he's a mute. Vocal cords paralyzed from birth.
Oh, how unfortunate. Say, he's scratched his hand, hasn't he?
Yes, he's always climbing into the most unlikely places. Run along, dear, and sit in that chair. There's a good boy. Right over there.
What are you doing, my boy? That's me.
Sit down.
Oh, I beg your pardon. My colleague, Dr. Watson, Miss Adrea Spedding.
Oh, how do you do? It's a great pleasure.
Mr. Holmes, my business is of utmost privacy.
I assure you, Dr. Watson is the very soul of discretion. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
And now, Miss Spedding, how can I be of service to you?
Well, I hardly know where to begin. Perhaps I'm unduly alarmed. But you see, a friend of mine has disappeared.
Indeed.
I've tried to get in touch with him at his rooms, but he's not there. And he seems to have left no word.
His name?
Rajni Singh. He was from India.
Rajni Singh. I seem to have heard of him.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, I'm terribly afraid I shall never see him again.
Oh, come now, Miss Spedding. I'm sure you won't have to look far.
Look at all the pretty butterflies. Perhaps you're right.
Larry, stop that. Oh, you naughty boy. Put on your shoes and socks.
Oh, let him go barefoot. Boys like to. Didn't you, Watson?
Didn't I what?
Like to go barefoot.
Yes, I always ran through the dewy grass in the early mornings. They used to call me Twinkle Toes.
I'm sure you were a beautiful baby, Watson. Now tell me, Miss Spedding, just why are you so concerned about this Rajni Singh?
Well, you see, he pawned his insurance policy to get a loan. The minute I found he was missing, I went to the loan shark and redeemed the policy.
Why?
I didn't want to put temptation in the way of people who might profit by his death.
How very thoughtful of you.
If you could find Rajni Singh, you might return this policy to him with the compliments of a friend. Of course, you're going to be paid for your trouble.
I have every confidence, Miss Spedding, that you're not one to leave a score unsettled.
Larry, let it go. Come here. He seems possessed to catch flies. Now, if you put on your shoes and socks, Auntie will give you a nice sweet.
You have quite a way with children.
Oh, I bribe him shamefully. This will be the third today, would you believe it? American candy, hard to get. There. Now, mind you don't get your fingers sticky.
Cunning little beggar. One could almost tuck him into a suitcase. He must be a great comfort to you.
Oh, he is.
Cigarette?
Thank you. Oh, what a lovely case.
Yes, isn't it? I picked it up quite by accident. There wasn't a mark on it, except some negligible fingerprints that the police couldn't identify. You may have it, Miss Spedding.
Why give it to me?
Should we call it a trophy of the chase?
Oh, I really shouldn't.
Breathtaking, isn't it?
I owe you a great deal for this, Mr. Holmes. Larry. Don't drop the paper on the floor, dear. Put it in the fire. There's a good boy. Come along, dear. We must be going now. Goodbye, Dr. Watson.
Goodbye.
So pleased to have met you. I do hope he hasn't been a nuisance.
Not at all. He's a dear little fella.
Mr. Holmes, till we meet again.
Soon, I hope. Goodbye.
Fine figure of a woman, eh, Holmes?
You think so?
Yes. She reminds me of a little nurse I used to know in Wigmore Street. Very attractive girl.
What would you say if I told you she was the Spider Woman?
I wouldn't believe you. If she was, she'd have at least 8 legs, wouldn't she? A bit of a cough.
Blasted impertinence.
What, Holmes?
Bringing that policy here, bearding me in my own den. What about that train, Watson?
I don't know.
To the place we were going. Going to see a man Broadway about something. Oh. Oh. Breathe, Watson. Breathe deeply.
What was it, Holmes?
Yes, my dear fellow. We've been entertaining Miss Adrea Spedding. The most diabolically clever way of administering a lethal dose I've ever encountered.
I still don't understand.
Look here, Watson. This little confection has 2 wrappers. The inner one made of wax paper, the outer of silver paper. It was between these 2 wrappers that Miss Spedding concealed the powder that nearly cost us our lives.
I can taste those beastly fumes still. What powder?
Radix pedis diaboli. In other words, devil's foot. A very rare vegetable poison from Central Africa.
Devil? I remember that. The Cornish horror.
That's right, Watson.
I feel like a cup of tea. By Jove, it's lucky we're still alive, eh?
For how long, I wonder? Here we are, Watson.
What do you mean, here we are, Watson? Here we are where? Miles away from anywhere.
Well, I fancy a collector of spiders might not be too welcome in a crowded neighborhood.
I think you're right, Holmes.
When the old way can identify the persons to whom we sold these spiders.
Who's there? What do you want?
You Matthew Ordway?
Never you mind who I am. Who are you?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. This is my friend, Dr. Watson.
How do you do, sir?
How do I know you're what you say you are? Who sent you here?
Adam Gilflower.
Why didn't you say so? I'll be right down.
He seems a bit frightened, Holmes.
Yes, I don't like the look of it, Watson.